I want to welcome Tom Wesley, who is a candidate for United States Congress, to the studio. Welcome. Happy to have you here.
Pleasure to be here, George.
You're running as a Republican, Democrat, unenrolled, or what?
I am running as a Republican.
All right. Any opposition as a Republican?
There is a primary. Yes,
there is.
Primary. There's a doctor out in Northampton.
Okay.
And,
yeah. Well, we've had him on the show.
Yeah.
So we're happy to have you also. You're running against the incumbent Richard Neal.
Yes, I am.
In the 2nd Worcester District. People are kind of surprised sometimes. You know, it's an interesting thing because a lot of our listeners here, and we have a broad listening audience. We go up to Leominster and Fitchburg and Gardner and all the way through Sturbridge and out that way, and matter of fact, all the way through Connecticut. Sure. On that side, not so much towards the Boston side, but our signal goes that way. And Jim McGovern, the local congressman, basically for the greater part of Worcester, everyone thinks that's it. You know, that's the only congressman in place. Well, that's not true. And you go to the Millbury, Auburn, Grafton, that whole area out there, and Blackstone Valley, you move your way out that way. That's Richie Neal's territory all the way to Springfield.
Right.
Certainly a good part of our listening audience, the 2nd Worcester District, is part of that. And people are somewhat surprised by it. Tom, you had a background. You were in the United States Navy. You were a pilot for a number of years. You're a businessman. You're not a kid. You're running for Congress. You know, let me ask you this question. It's just to start off with. And I'm going to ask everyone this question. And I didn't invent the question. I heard it somewhere. And I'm not sure where. But it's a damn good question because a lot of people that I think that are in Congress today are there for a livelihood, which I think is something that's wrong with the United States Congress. Did you ever make more than $173,000 in your life outside in the private industry?
Yes, I have.
All right, so you would be one of the few outside of Congress that have, because most of the people down in Congress haven't. So
this is not the best job of my life.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask, because a lot of people run for this job because it is the best job they ever had in their life, and they found gold at the end of the hole here. And for
sort of like Peter principle, yeah.
Right, you know, 173,000. Why not run for it with all the bennies? So we got that out of the way. So why would a guy like you, CEO of a corporation, started up your own small business, Fortune 500 companies, why are you running?
First and foremost, I love my country. I really do. And I think Washington, we've heard this 1,000 times, Washington is broken, it's dysfunctional. And they're spending far too much money. We can't cash the checks we're writing right now. You know, I put together, over the course of my life, a resume that I think is appropriate for this time. And I don't want 20 years from now for my children or my grandchildren to be sitting on my knee and for me not to be able to say to them that I did everything I could to protect them. And I think our way of life is in great jeopardy right now. The kind of country that I've grown up in, I don't recognize it anymore. And as I project out, not even 10 years, I don't see that we're going to be a figment of the country that we were only 10 years ago.
Like what? Give us some examples.
Well, we're taking away choice. We're taking away opportunity. So when we take a look at taxation and the debt and the deficit, the sort of things that drive entrepreneurial spirit, the sort of things that allow you to take a risk and to get rewarded for taking that risk are being taken off the table. You know, I've traveled around the world, and one of the things, and I've probably been to Europe 50 times, and when I look at Europe, it's a wonderful place to go to visit castles and highlands and things like that, but when you look at the way people live, they live in sort of a narrow band. They can't exceed and excel too far, and they can't fall too far. It's sort of a gray twilight that they live in. And I look at that as a failed model. I don't anticipate and I don't envy a European lifestyle, and yet I see us moving towards a more socialized government, a more socialized style of life, with the government providing many things, and rugged individualism, if you will. This exceptional American work ethic that we have is really under fire.
But how can we go back? I don't disagree with you.
Well, I think that we don't necessarily have to go back so much as we don't want to continue down this path.
But we already have an anti-state. We're already dependent. A large percentage of the people in this country believe government, that the answer to every problem is government. They'll complain on this talk show and other talk shows, and yet they go to government every time there's a problem. Where's the government? Where's the government? Where's the government? The government's going to get, you know. I just was talking about public schools.
I heard that.
It was 200 performing schools. The first thing people did last night in the school committee was fire 2 principals that may or may not deserve to be fired. I'm not on the school committee. I can't make that assumption. I don't know the job performance, but they went for the money. The federal government dangled out money, so they went down there and said, I don't know if this program's any damn good, but they got $1.5 million, $500,000 a school. We need the money.
Well, there's 1,001 things to respond to that way, but let me just tell you where I came from earlier today. I was at Northbridge High School.
Okay.
A wonderful program. I attended there for 2 hours. Civics in action. 70 high school students, sophomores, juniors, and seniors, involved, energetically involved in understanding how government works and how to participate as a citizen in government. I tell you what, Jordan, I haven't sat with an interview with you yet, but I tell you, I've sat through a lot of interviews. That was one of the toughest interviews that I've had yet of kids who are 1 year or less away from being full-fledged citizens with the right to vote, full-fledged citizens who are on the pointy edge of the sword insofar as our defense of this country is concerned. They are ready. I was so impressed by that group of people, the way they behaved, the way they comported themselves, the questions that they had asked. They had actually prepared questions in advance, and they were read with their names, and you know, it was rapid fire for 2 hours. I felt as though I wasn't under attack, but I was breaking a sweat. These kids are ready to lead now. So across the board, I think you find a great variation in that. I'm also a Boy Scout leader. I'm the troop Scoutmaster of Troop 1 in Hopedale, and so I spend a lot of time with boys. And I see how kids who are 17 years old can interact with kids who are 11 years old from different walks of life, different socioeconomic backgrounds, different levels of intelligence. Some are jocks, some are nerds, but they all get it done. And I watch these boys become Eagle Scouts. I watch the projects that they do. I help them and mentor them along the way. I listen to their goals and hopes and dreams. And I'm telling you, they are great kids. They are good kids out there, and they deserve to be, not rescued, but they deserve to be, not to be pawns in some crazy system where they have a very short period of time to go through school, and we can't be playing games with that.
We got to get back to the original question. How do we get out of this? Business itself in this country today has the nanny state philosophy that people have. Businesses say, yeah, I'll do this, but I need a government grant. Oh, I'll do this, but I need a government support. Oh, I'll hire people, but you're going to pay for half of it. So we got the business community now that has become part of the problem. We've got the general public that just is out there and saying, I'm against all of the spending, I'm against all of these deficits, I want all this stuff cut, but don't touch my program, and make sure that when we have a problem over here, we can have the government come right here and take care of it. Don't take care of Wall Street, but take care of Main Street. I mean, I come from an era when we didn't do this.
And it worked pretty well.
It worked damn well.
Yeah. Well, I think when all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. Isn't that the expression?
Yeah, I used to make nails, so I understood that business real well.
So this is the opportunity, I think, that we have in front of us in 2010. Look, if you send one person down to Washington, one representative, it's 1 out of 435. It's a quarter of 1%. But what's going to happen, I think, if you I don't know if you agree with me or not, but if you keep your finger on the pulse of what's going on and talk to the electorate like I've been doing lately, you find that people are upset who've never been upset before. People are engaged and involved who've never been engaged and involved before. People are donating who've never done that before. People are talking to candidates like they've never done. 2010 across this country, I believe, is going to be a watershed year. And I think there's going to be 30, 40, 50, 60, maybe more new people going down to Washington. People just like me. I am not a career politician by any stretch of the imagination. I'm a career citizen. I'm looking to bring those sort of values that we just talked about and say, you know, it used to work this way. It used to be a time when we didn't have all these government handouts. And can we get these 50, 60, 70 people together to vote as a bloc? People say they want a third party. Well, this is a de facto third party, because a third party is going to get creamed one way or the other in this country. But if you can put people together who are like-minded, who sit on both sides of the aisle and say, what is right for America, and what direction do we want to take this country in, this is the year to do it.